All right, it's me again. So now it is time for us to read My Last Duchess by Robert Browning. Now, Robert Browning was a man who was deeply devoted to his wife, and both of them were very well-known poets and writers. Elizabeth Barrett Browning was his wife. Okay, so this story is it's not a story, it's a poem. It's it's kind of funny, to tell you the truth. It's a dark humor. So let me just warn you about that. So what's going on in this is it's all about a duke. And this duke, okay, so in it, Browning proves himself a master, I'm reading out of the book, not only of characterization, but also of dramatic tension. In this vivid picture of a smug aristocrat, Browning employs the Duke's own words to reveal the character's self-centeredness, ruthlessness, to the extent that by the end of the poem, the reader despises this pompous nobleman. It made me laugh. I mean, isn't that terrible? I probably shouldn't reveal that about myself. So in this, the Duke of Ferrara is speaking. He was an Italian Renaissance nobleman. And he is, if you remember from our last discussion in class, this Duke is being courted, so to say, by a representative of a young lady who wants the Duke to marry her. Okay? Now, he has been married before, but he is now a widower. And we soon find out why he's a widower. As they walk into his gallery, there is a curtain. And behind this curtain is his last Duchess, his previous bride. Okay? Keep that in mind. And so he points out the painting. That's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now, Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. Fra Pandolf, Friar Pandolf, an imaginary monk and painter of the Italian Renaissance period. Okay? I said, oh my goodness, let me start over. That's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Friar Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. Wilt please you sit and look at her? I said. Friar Pandolf by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance, its serious glance. But to myself they turn, since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you but I, and seemed as they would ask me, if they durst, how such a glance came there. So in other words, he's like, you see that picture of her? See her looking? Well, I have it behind a curtain because now she only looks at me that way. And now you ask, well, how did she come by that look? How such a glance came there, so not the first are you to turn and ask thus. Sir, 'twas not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy into the Duchess's cheeks. Perhaps Friar Pandolf chanced to say, her mantle laps over my lady's wrist too much, or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half-blush that dyes along her throat. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. So when the friar complimented her, it made her blush and have a little bit of color to her cheeks. And he was saying that's a look she had not reserved only for me, but for other people. And apparently it ticked him off. She had a heart, how shall I say, too soon made glad, too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. Sir, 'twas all one. My favorite her breast, the dropping of the daylight in the west, The bough of cherries, some officious fool, broke in the orchard for her. The white mule she rode with round the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech, or blush at least. She thanked men good, but thanked somehow I know not how, as if she ranked my gift of a 900-year-old name with anybody's gift. So he thought so highly of himself that his wife should have been like angry with the rest of the world and pleased only for him and his name. Yeah, she was not allowed to be happy with anything but him. Who'd stoop to blame this sort of trifling, even had you skill in speech, which I have not, to make your will quite clear to such an one, and say, just this or that in you disgust me. Here you miss, or there exceed the mark. And if she let herself be lessoned so, nor plainly set her wits to yours, forsooth, and made excuse, even then would be some stooping, and I choose never to stoop. So, why does the Duke refrain from speaking to his wife about her actions? Because he's so full of himself. He would not stoop to teach his wife how to conduct herself in a manner that met his approval. He thought she was probably too ignorant to treat her as an equal to himself. This is so sad. Yeah, it gets worse. Oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whene'er I passed her. But who passed without much the same smile? This grew. I gave commands. Then all smiles stopped together. So instead of telling his wife, I don't like that, or I don't like this, or I do like that, or I don't like this, all smiles ceased. What had he done? There she stands, as if alive. Will't please you rise? We'll meet the company below. Then I repeat, the Count, your master's known munificence, is, that means he's very giving, is ample warrant that no just pretense of mine for dowry will be disallowed. Though his fair daughter's self, as I avowed at starting, is my object. Nay, we'll go together down, sir. Notice Neptune, though, taming a seahorse, though thought a rarity, which Klaus Innsbruck cast in bronze for me. And he quickly guides the man, so he's like, okay, let's go meet the rest of the party. Your master's very well off, and that's good, because, yeah, if I'm going to give my name to this girl, she better have some money. And he's also giving a hint how she wants her to behave. And then he points out a sculpture. It shows the visitor, he shows the visitor the sculpture, and it indicates how the Duke views himself. A powerful and intimidating godlike being fit to tame those around him. All right, so basically, and it's also cast in bronze, one of the hardest metals. So that is really, this Duke is greedy. He is full of pride, and he's vicious. If his wife doesn't behave the way he wants her to, he'll just have her, he'll have her killed. Why did I laugh at this? This is horrible. This man is inhumane. He'd be crazy. Man, but not in a good way like Don Quixote. Ugh. That's so sad. All right. So who is the speaker in this poem? If you said the Duke, you are correct. And what does the title suggest about his attitude toward his late wife? He did not like her, did he? And he's using her as an example to future duchesses. And we get a lot about his character in the words that he says. He just hints, all smiles ceased. I wouldn't lower myself to train her, so to speak. Like a woman needs to be trained. Ugh. Okay, so now I'm thoroughly depressed. But you still have work to do. And I have another class in just a few minutes. But it was great reading this with you. I hope you read along with me. Russell, did you have your book? Good. All right. I'll see you guys later.